So I've sewn my pocket bag together and finished that raw edge with bias binding. I'm just going to show you the bias binding. So this one I have sewn, but I haven't added the bias binding yet. So when you're looking at first of all, let's talk about the bias binding. When you buy bias binding, or if you're making it yourself, it's not entirely folded in half. You can see that one edge is shorter than the other edge. The shorter edge is the top. And so when you sew that down, you know that you're catching the back side when you're stitching. So because we're looking at the inside of your shorts here, we want this shorter edge to sit on the side that you're going to see when you put your shorts on, like so. Now I don't pin this on, especially because we've got a corner here, a curve to get around, but you just want to open up this, and this is double fold bias binding. You want to open up this main fold, or the first fold, and get your seam allowance all the way in there. So you've filled that bias binding. And again, you want to start stitching about 1 to 2 mils from the edge. It's very close, take your time. And I just keep, I sew a few centimeters and I check, I open out my bias binding again, make sure my seam allowance is entirely in there, fold it back over and I stitch. And then just take your time working around the curves. You do need to stretch the binding just a little bit as you get around the curve, but don't stretch it a lot because it will pucker your pocket bag, especially if you've got a really light weight fabric in there and this is a bit thicker. So just take your time and you're going to sew that all the way around.